Hi, everyone. This is Sarah Jones. I'm a health and physical education teacher. I teach in-person K to 6, and I teach online high school 9 through 12 physical education. I used Prezi to create my philosophy of online teaching presentation here. And one kind of fun fact, I did not know that Prezi has AI-based templates. So I chose this template. It looked just like this with the sticky notes and the brain all across. Then I made an outline of the things I wanted to share, and I used Microsoft Word, and I used the accessibility outline, not just my own general one, and copied that into this. I made a few edits and updates and changes, but a lot of the legwork was done for me. And then my voice, my little personal video thoughts here will be the add-ins. My resume has said for a couple of years now that I'm dedicated to fostering a lifelong passion for health and fitness, impacting academic success through reflective practice. And now I added in and digital pedagogy. The national standards for quality online teaching and the Danielson model align really well. I've used the Danielson model for all 15 years of my teaching, and recently digging into the NSQOT, but a few that I highlighted to emphasize specifically here for my own personal online philosophy now are continuing to be a reflective practitioner, digging into that digital pedagogy, facilitating meaningful learning, and making sure I have clear communication with the stakeholders. In online teaching, that last piece of communication does take a little bit of extra work because those people are not all within my building. It's phone calls and emails, connecting, sometimes multiple attempts to connect to the students and the parents because they're not physically in person. Another element of my personal philosophy is staying on pace with the increase of online options. Online allows students to have maybe more flexible scheduling, expanded course options, independent and small groups. Mine specifically, I know a lot of my students for the physical education course take the online class so that they can use their block 3 to take an AP class. Or maybe they're doing work study, so they take their 2 in-person classes in the morning and then they leave and work, and then they do the online physical education class later that day. I'm continuing to aim to adapt to the psychosocial learning environment and continue to implement effective communication strategies for my online and my synchronous learners. Really making sure I'm manipulating the materials and making sure that they are benefiting that psychosocial learning environment is something I wasn't super great at the beginning as I was trying to figure out the new LMS and the content that was created, because I didn't create all of the content. We used Edgenuity. So for me, just kind of making sure I'm staying on pace and offering different things for the students, different materials, different assignments, so that it's meaningful for them, even though they're online. The creating a quality education in that learning environment is also something that's just really important to me, making sure I'm creating something that's appealing to the students, that's challenging, meaningful for them, even though it's online. And there's a lot of ways that I can and hopefully do continue to spark their imagination, their creativity. And then I think another element that's really important is emphasizing clear communication from me. As I interact with the students. One thing that I have done is make some embedded lessons of my own to add into the course content that's already created. And that leads me into the next point of the SEL. So for some of the research we read throughout the course, from Perez and Grant, 2022, the Center for Applied Specialized Technology, CAST, and then UDL information as well. Finding the motivation of the why of learning, the processing information, the what they're learning, and then demonstrating their understanding how they're learning. Finding a way to embed that into an online course is important, and it's what ends up engaging the students. So using that UDL, not just for a differentiation of how the information is presented, but how the students can interact with the information, and then how they can provide feedback back to us as the teachers of what they're actually learning. So multiple means of engagement for self-regulation, and then making sure that we're continuing to allow multiple opportunities for that throughout the course. Another element is continuing to create a sense of belonging. This is difficult in online learning. I think it takes a lot of effort from the teachers, a lot of consistent effort, not just once and then done. I think I'm a pretty good communicator. I think I have a good set of supports for the students as far as like a syllabus and some Google Slides for them to look back for to find information that they may need, or folders of resources for at-home workouts that don't involve any equipment. Like I'm giving a lot of effort to make this relevant and supportive for the students, but fostering that sense of belonging is difficult online. I think some of this comes down to how your district has it set up. Mine is promoted as a completely asynchronous, not collaborative, you and you alone course. And so my interactions with the students are one of the only things that they have to create that sense of belonging. So again, I'm trying to foster that by offering some different activities and assignments so that they can kind of look into their inner self, and then also in my interactions with them as well. And in line with that, there's a handful of different students in each of our online courses. So it could be gifted, at risk, students with IEPs, ELs, students just trying to graduate and they need this course. So creating opportunities for meaningful exchange of ideas, whether your course allows for collaborative efforts from peers to peers, or whether that's mostly student to teacher facilitation, or even student working with their own content that they're exploring and then creating back for assessments. But continuing to emphasize these online courses still serve all manner of learners, and making sure that we're offering an opportunity for all of those students to engage. There were quite a few applications I took from our course here, putting into my instruction. A few specifics. I'd like to start doing some video, just short little 1 minutes for me. Hey, it's Mrs. Jones. It's Monday. I really liked the way that was embedded into our D2L course here, just a small sense of connection. Maybe highlighting a little bit where they should be. Maybe that'll help them get back on pace. They'll see that little interaction. I'm going to continue to use an in-person orientation, continue to align my accessibility features, which I now know a little bit more about from this course, making sure I'm not causing more work for myself later because I didn't do the basic outline or use those features now, to be able to support my instruction. So a few of the best practices that we discussed through this course were actually like an encouragement to me, like a little pat on the back, because I'm already doing them. I do host an in-person orientation for my learners, and then embedded into the course, and then on our LMS, our supports for students based off of that orientation. I really try to drive home like my personality there and win the students over, because it's one of the few times I get to interact with them. Hopefully that relationship right there gives them a feeling of belonging, that they can reach out to me throughout the course, or that they respond back when I reach out to them. Making sure I'm continuing to pair the content with application opportunities. That's specifically the use of the Polar Watch that we have for their fitness log, taking the things they're learning in the content to be able to apply to create their own workouts and their own fitness plans. And then continuing to promote deep and meaningful engagements. Although my students don't interact peer-to-peer online, I'm trying to embed different reflection assignments so that they can kind of look maybe inward for that sense of belonging as opposed to peer-to-peer, because that's not the framework that's set up for my course. This course also prompted me to include or look into how I can support the development of new literacies and skill sets for my students. Not just how to use the Polar Watch, but why, and what different pieces of knowledge and background information do they need to be successful with tracking their own workout with a fitness tracking device. Maybe not the one I provided, but one that they maybe decide to get or already have, and the whole why behind all of that. There's quite a few benefits to online learning these students can't get when they're in their classroom. So as difficult as it is to change an online classroom or to change an in-person classroom to an online classroom, the students are finding these benefits. They maybe a more quiet student is less inhibited or willing to take more risks. I think that speaks really well to the reason why a lot of my online physical education students are taking this course. They don't prefer the typical in-person high school physical education class. They're still able to work on many of the standards, or I shouldn't say they are able to work on the standards even at home, with the tools that we provide them with the engagement opportunities. And so that is where the second bullet point here is some of the benefits of online learning, though, do take teacher initiative to offer a meaningful exchange of not just ideas, but like application of the content as well. So moving beyond a passive interaction to transformative learning experiences, as we learned through PICRAT. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that acronym correctly, but that's how I've been saying it in my head this whole time. But yeah, kind of transforming that opportunity for them, even though they're online and not in person. The instructor involvement was mentioned in quite a few different articles, specifically the social presence model and the Rice articles, just talking about how the students are identifying the teacher interaction, their instructor, their professor, as one of the most critical elements of their academic success. So again, continuing to make sure I'm applying that from this course, some of the different tools that we've learned, and also kind of looking ahead at what the challenges are that we experience with online learning, like that not all students are online at the same time, and making sure I'm continuing to provide my instructor, my teacher availability for the students so that they can be successful. Some of the aha moments that I had throughout this course, the varied online teaching formats really do impact whether you can offer a peer-to-peer collaboration or whether you're trying to allow students to work independently on their own. The teacher has to be continuously intentional about providing those planned learning opportunities that connect back to the outcomes. So this is where I'm kind of tying in like the aha. It really does take a lot of effort and time from the teacher. You are trying to leverage some of the different tools that are out there. Maybe it's through your LMS, maybe it's additional tools you're building in to the lessons, but your ultimate goal is facilitating student engagement, collaboration, and then meaningful learning experiences. That importance of teacher interaction is critical to the students. And the districts, they're having such a huge influx, not just from COVID anymore, but that opportunity, that providing that flexible scheduling. The districts need to prioritize the teacher interaction and make sure that to allow for the assurance of quality online learning experiences that address the diverse learners in these courses, and allow time for student and teacher communication. Online teaching is still teaching. It should not be a start this course and I'll see you at the finish line. So carving out time for teacher schedules and allowing for all of the ins and outs. It's not just a click of a button to move you on to the next assignment. The quote here from the article we just finished up this week says, "Make no mistake, there's no substitute for human interaction." There are so many tools that allow for the online classes to still be engaging, collaborative, and meaningful. Again, like I mentioned a few times, as the teacher is making intentional efforts to plan, connecting back to the learning outcomes, emphasizing that teacher interaction, hopefully also emphasizing peer interaction and collaborative opportunities. Like having that interaction is still doable and still possible, even though they're online. So my final thoughts are the demands are high for students requesting the online courses for a variety of reasons, which gives us teachers a diverse group of students in our classes. So as online teachers, we still have to continue to be intentional and active, trying to provide quality learning experiences, emphasizing teacher-student interaction, hopefully also emphasizing collaborative interactions as we try to help the students foster their connection back to the why of their learning, the how, and then the what also. Giving them multiple opportunities to engage in the content and present what they've learned and their mastery of their skills back to us.